Well, hello there, everybody. It is me, Postmodern Cowboy. What is this behind me? What is this I see? It's Nebulous Fleet Command. So I'm here with a little news, some updates about what's going on in Nebulous. This is pretty cool stuff. I've got some great news, and I've got some very interesting news. I'm not sure if it's great or not. I think it's great. I certainly have my own opinion on it, and it's not a negative one. But I'll leave it up to you to suss.
Well sussed.
Where are we here? Nebulous Fleet Command has been out for a couple months now. I've played it a few times. I made a few videos. I'm gonna get back more into it. I really miss it. I just haven't had time to sit down. And every time I log on, it seems like there's a new meta or a new meme build. And getting used to the constantly changing play styles, the sort of emergent gameplay as people get much better at the game than I am now. It's challenging, but I'm gonna have a chance to jump back in soon because there's an update coming in maybe the next month or two that should change many things. Many things with Nebulous are going to change. But on a more important note, things are changing for the developer. Nebulous is developed by Eridanus Industries. You can find them on Twitter. They are I think a one-person operation. I'm not certain that's the case, but I'm fairly confident that from everything I've read, there's one primary developer, just a Navy officer making games. I think that's what it says on Twitter. So Eridanus is really small. They've made a really great game. Maybe one of the greatest games in the last 10 years at least. Certainly one of the most original. I can't believe nobody had come up with this concept before, but there was a niche and they filled it, and it's theirs. And so I think that one developer has been running himself ragged, doing very detailed dev blogs, keeping the community updated, being very transparent with players and the state of the game, which is good. It is good. I have personally no complaints. I just want more. I want more detail. I want more depth. I want more stuff. I want more ship types. But we'll get there. I think we'll get there. Now, there was an update, and it came down yesterday night at about 6:30 in the evening, so about 24 hours ago, and it shocked me. I was actually shocked. It's not often I have to pick my jaw up off the floor, because here I thought Nebulous was just this passion project by a very niche indie developer, and it was going to remain like a cult community favorite, and no, they've got big plans for Nebulous. So Nebulous has found, or Eridanus has found a publisher. That's cool, right? Now, who's the publisher they found? So, if you, like me, like space games, like 2D space games, 3D isometric space games, top-down space games, strategy games, space strategy games, space grand strategy games with alien invasions, all of those things, you may have heard of Hooded Horse. And I have mixed opinions on Hooded Horse because very few of the games that they are publishing have reached market yet. Now I have full faith that those games will reach market. I do joke sort of off the cuff that they are the world's leading purveyor of space vaporware IP. But some games that they have produced are in playable states, and some are out. I haven't played any of their fantasy or historical stuff like Old World, but I did get a chance to try out Terra Invicta. I'm going to pull up the developers, the publisher's website here and move myself on the screen so we can talk a little bit about what's on it. Okay, so Hooded Horse, who are they? They are a Dallas, Texas-based publisher of indie strategy simulation and role-playing games. Okay, so they're in Texas. Interesting times in Texas these days. But anyway, a publisher showcase, and then they get this list of titles, and it is pretty substantial. This is a lot of games. And there's more than one game on here. I'm like, I want to play it. But not everything's out. So let's start from the very top. Old World, haven't played. It is Civ-esque, Civilization meets Crusader Kings. Falling Frontier, I cannot wait. You've seen probably another video of mine if you follow this channel I did like an old Macross 2D space game called Escape Velocity. Falling Frontier is kind of like Escape Velocity. It is a 3D isometric space, or like, I mean 3D, but bird's eye view space tactics game. But the emphasis, its real shine is like more on empire or corporate management. So it's like Escape Velocity mashed up with Galactic Civilizations or something like that. Like really, really cool design. I have been salivating for that title. The very first time that Falling Frontier hit my my Facebook newsfeed, actually, I think is where I saw it. It popped up. I was like, is this another one of those bullshit cell phone games? And I clicked on it and I was like, this looks like one of those bullshit cell phone games. And then I actually started to look at the Steam page and I was like, oh, I have to get this. This is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for something that bridges that gap between like, I'm a lone spaceship flying around the universe and building up my own finances, and like the macro level management of like organizing, coordinating fleets and warping them between systems and stuff. Like, that's just so cool. That's so cool. It looks so well designed. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Falling Frontier. I think that is a very promising title. Now, Terra Invicta, actually, I had a chance to play Terra Invicta earlier this week. I am going to do a video because there's a demo. And this is something new. Demos are making a comeback. I haven't seen a demo for a game in a very, very long time. Everybody's like, take my early access. And you wind up paying like close to full price for a game that hasn't been released yet. And it's not always bad. You know, Nebulous is early access and it's great. But to be able to play a demo of a game that's still in active development, kind of like an early access, but like almost also a fully featured, just like dip your toe into everything we're doing for free, that's really cool and gets tongues wagging. Builds a lot of hype. So Terra Invicta, I have some qualms. I wasn't in love with the copy, I'll say that, and that's going to be more so in my review of the demo. I think that the writing needs a lot of work, even just like the grammar and sentence structure, word choice. It felt like it was translated. I don't know what it would be translated from, but it felt like it was translated. And the game itself is a novel concept. It is, you know, I jokingly called it the Satanic Elite Simulator, but it is a game in which you play as like an enigmatic factional leader trying to usurp world governments or subvert world governments on Earth, real Earth governments. So like the game starts with Russia and Ukraine at war in 2022, and you're trying to subvert those governments to achieve your interests, which are challenging the eventual hegemony of alien invaders who are also infiltrating Earth governments. So it's like an espionage diplomacy, very much like maybe a Europa Universalis or Hearts of Iron, much more simplistic than both of those, but with the added nuance of the espionage and infiltration side, and then like space exploration. You go to the far reaches of the solar system and fight space aliens there, build fleets, and like, so you also get the like expanse vibe of like a united Earth standing against the alien invaders, which is a cool concept. I'm less sold on it than I am on Falling Frontier. Maybe because it hits a little close to home. I think it could potentially be quite problematic if it's presented the wrong way. But I'll reserve my judgment to I'll reserve my judgment on that title. Okay, and so next up we've got the Alliance of the Sacred Sons. The Alliance of the Sacred Sons is, well, there's another video on my channel of an old two-dimensional space strategy game, grand strategy game, Emperor of the Fading Suns. And so Alliance of the Sacred Sons, just even in its name, evokes that alignment. Now, it is a different game. It's much more like a Crusader Kings, almost like a deck management game of like house versus house, character versus character. I'm not sure how it works, to be honest, but it looks interesting. It looks, like a Dune style again, great house versus great house. It seems cool. Definitely is coming from out of left field here. These are novel ideas in games. These are Emperor of the Fading Suns just stood alone in its niche. There's another game not from Hooded Horse called Shadow Empire. I'm going to check that out too, which seems to have more of like the planetary side combat that I love in Emperor of the Fading Suns. But Alliance of the Sacred Suns may have more of that like grand strategy, Inquisition in deep space medieval vibe. So I'm into it. I gotta say, I'm into it. Capital Command. I'm not sure at all on Capital Command. It looks a lot like Nebulous. It's big ships versus big ships fighting each other in space with missiles and lasers and point defense weapons, and it's had a low res trailer. I didn't really look into it, to be honest. And then Fragile Existence looks like absolute genius. This is a space game in which you kind of like Homeworld are like a mobile or like Battlestar Galactica. Like you're a ship, a fleet that gathers resources on planets. You can send people down to planets. They run around in these like little tiny people running around the surface of the planet. They get into fights and stuff like that. That looks it looks like a compelling and evocative concept for a game. Again, I was talking about on my other video there about Emperor of the Fading Suns, how like nobody does this. You're in space, you're on the planet. You're in space, you're on the planet on a strategy level. Like there are so few games in this genre that do that. It's exciting to see a couple on this list. And then Mars Tactics, last but not least in the space genre here, Mars Tactics is, how do I phrase this? Probably the most interesting to those of us with politics. But Mars Tactics is like space labor activists versus the space fascist corporation. So you play as labor and you're revolting on Mars to get better working conditions. And it's a tactics game, like Final Fantasy Tactics, so a turn-based. Think like maybe Divinity Original Sin. Lighter on the storyline, I think. It doesn't seem to have much in the way of like voicing or, but it doesn't need that. That's not what it's about. It is just a tactics game that like turns the genre on its head a little bit, changes the setting, changes the factions, and actually makes a pretty credible political case here for like thinking about labor conditions on Mars. Now, like I know that this has been done in gaming before with Red Faction, but I'm still excited to check out Mars Tactics when it drops. And a trailer just came up for it like last week or so. And really last on the list is Manor Lords. And Manor Lords, totally out of genre, but is like Hooded Horse's answer to Mountain Blade, which is really cool. That's all I'll say. If you've played Manor Lord, if you've played Warband, if you played Mountain Blade Original, check out Manor Lords. I'm super excited for that too, because I also love me my medieval hack and slash games. I love me my medieval like kingdom and town management and clan management games. Manor Lords seems to mash a bunch of those together, and that's really what Hooded Horse is doing. They're taking like indie developers who have really good ideas that take a bunch of popular sort of IP concepts, overlap them into totally new titles, and then they're investing in them and they're marketing them, which is basically what they said on the Nebulous Discord. Mazer Ludd here, posting above me, posted this yesterday saying, hey, we're happy to work with Hooded Horse. We're happy to have them market our product. This is really going to help us and help me. This is the developer help me to get the word out about the game, because I became aware of Hooded Horse's product because they're excellent Facebook marketing. They are good at getting eyes on games, and if there's one thing Nebulous needs, it's a more vibrant player base. It needs more people playing, and the only way they're going to get that is through more marketing and new content. I think new content is going to bring people back, which brings me to the good news.
Good news, everyone!
The good news. Scrolling up here for a hot second. I'm going to move myself on the screen again because I can do that. Boom. Okay, and then you'll see behind me there is another update from the developers, and the Modular Missile update is ready to go. They're looking for testers. I'm not going to test it. I don't really have the time. And they do say here in this text that if you want to help, if you want to sign up to help test it. Don't waste their time in making them drop everything to find a replacement for a tester when you flake on them. And I think that in such a small community and with such a small developer team, that can have a pretty substantial impact. So if you love this game and you want to help test, but if you just want to play it, wait until it's out, wait until it's been streamlined, and then we'll all get into it. So what is the Modular Missile update? Well, the Modular Missile update is a package of content for Nebulous Fleet Command, which essentially allows you to design your own missiles and load them into your ships. So your missile bays and your ships can carry a bunch of different missiles. You've seen this on my streams before, but in this case, the modular missiles are going to be player built. So you're going to build them, you're going to name them, you're going to like set their like propellant level, the ratio of propellant to warhead. You can come up with like really unique missile types, like things that are semi-active, things that are radar guided, things that have erratic trajectories. So they like wibble wobble on their way in. I don't know what they're called offhand. I don't remember, but I'm going to call them the wibble wobbles because they're cool. That is a cool idea. And I don't know if there's hypersonic missiles, but or whether they are all hypersonic. I don't actually know what speed the missiles in Nebulous move at. I could probably find that information if I cared. But certainly faster missiles. There will be missiles that are made to like burn a straight line to a target and do a specific thing when they get there, like punch through armor or blow a hole in a ship that's already taken substantial damage. And also like torpedoes. So you know the slower, heavier missiles, the less maneuverable, higher damage missiles. There's going to be lots of that as well. I don't think there's nuclear warheads or any plan to add them. I know they exist in the Expanse universe with the devastating consequences. So maybe they'd be a little overpowered for the scale of combat in Nebulous. But it's worth putting out there that nukes, tactical space nukes, would be kind of cool. And again, I don't know about future plans for development, but I think I heard rumors of something like carriers and fighters, and like I think there's longer term plans for the development here. And modular missiles is just the first piece of content we're getting from what seems to be a fairly active developer who also has a full-time job as a U.S. Navy officer. So like that's a lot. That's a lot for anyone. So yeah, we're coming up here on the end of this video. I just wanted to provide a little update on Hooded Horse, who they are, how it connects through to Nebulous, a little bit on modular missiles, and to let you know that when modular missiles drop, I'm going to do a full video. I'm going to do a rundown, and I'm going to like play with missiles because I like missiles. I like missiles. I don't, okay. I just did a video yesterday on air defense technology and policy. It was a cowboy commentary video. And this doesn't really segue in. I mean, it's a video game, but it's on point at least for my area of interest. Wait until I do the video on satellite killers. Well, that's about it for me for now. If you like watch me play these games, if you like hearing about these games, follow me on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, throw me a like, let me know what you think down in the comments. As always, see you in space.